Hello, lovely beings. Welcome again in another episode of the Human Lightbulbs podcast. And I'm very excited for this one. And I am, for the people that don't know me yet, I'm MissHellbreaker, aka Yoni Eggs. And Hellbreaker is my real surname. I want to help people free themselves on all levels as much as possible. And with the Human Lightbulbs podcast, I share like really unique human beings that really inspire others and really shining their unique light into this world. And today I'm very happy and excited to have Violeta Labella here on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you, my darling. It's really something to shine here with you. Like, you are so bubbly and wow. So I'm just going to try to put a dose of Violeta into that. Thank you for having me. And thank you for all of you who are just like tuning in right now to look at or to listen to what the two of us are going to share.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So I'm like, and maybe because I already know what you're doing, what you do and what you bring. So I'm very excited about that. And maybe you can tell a bit about what you do and yeah.
Yes, so I do quite a lot of things. And among these things, there is this red thread. And the red thread of everything I'm doing is about pleasure. Pleasure is a very important component in my life. It started with precisely like with me having a background. I'm coming from a war-torn country. And, so growing up in environments like that, obviously, you do not really manage to live a lot of pleasure out. And I felt how this inner fire I had was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And all my life, in the last maybe 15, 20 years, I've been diverting into or like focusing into moving into aspects of myself that are allowing me to live the highest level of pleasure that I'm capable of. So that doesn't mean only just like, like being in the bubbly and being in the yes, but being as well in every aspect of emotions and range of emotions I can feel, because only this allows me to live the highest form of pleasure. And in the focus of my work is female pleasure. Female pleasure, precisely pleasure women are capable of feeling and capable of living. As I have figured out in the time when I was going through this very personal, challenging time of my life, as most of us have in order to gain a huge transformation, I figured out that it's not only me who has the topic. We all have different backgrounds with different stories, but in fact, everything we have in society, everything we have in our culture, everything we have in our modern living life is basically diverting us from the natural pleasure. And that is like being in nature, eating natural food, being consistently in movement, touching our bodies, touching each other, feeling our genitals, feeling the explosions that we have inside our body, expressing our emotions. And yes, then I thought, well, I know how to do that because for so many years I've been, really feeling into that and trying to bring this across as well for myself, in my family, in my surroundings, that I have like a huge community of women who are with me in discovering and living our pleasure out. So that's a short version. But apart from that, when I'm not doing that, then I am producing these little diamonds, Yoni eggs. I'm producing them from natural mineral stones or semi-precious stones. And if you haven't heard from Yoni Eggs, you're going to receive my link afterwards and you can have a look and check out whatever you would like to know more about it. But Yoni Eggs are basically small tools that help us women re-alive our womb and get our juices flow a little bit better and juicier.
Yeah, and the first time I got like to hear about Yoni Eggs, like no one knew what it was. I still think a lot of people still haven't know what are Yoni Eggs, but it's like crystal shape, like egg shapes.
Yes, it's egg-shaped
crystals.
crystals.
Different forms, huh?
Exactly. egg-shaped crystals that are crystals or semi-precious stones, and they are inserted into the vagina. And I'm showing it precisely this way. It is inserted with the belly first, and the pointed part stays outside. And they basically do something that yogis amongst us might know better or have heard of. It's the balance between sthira and sukha. So when you are going into this yoga posture, you're going with the firmness and the strength and allowing yourself the sweetness and the flexibility in that. And this is what Yoni Eggs create. When they're inserted, they're basically massaging the spots in the vaginal channel. They're massaging the vagina so that the flow of energy, the blood flow, the oxygen can reach this part of the body and re-alive it. And with re-alive, I'm talking more about, sometimes people get a little bit, like triggered by this re-alive. What does it mean? We sit quite a lot of hours. Our digestion is sometimes really a little bit slow and lazy. Many women do not have enough sex. Many women do not have enough good sex. Many women don't touch each other. We have challenges with our menstruation, challenges with our pelvic floor issues. Like I have sometimes classes with 200 women in pelvic floor issues. And this is something that used to be a very common topic for women 55 plus. So that would be the age where people would say, yeah, like this is now the time when women start having these issues, or postpartum. Now, we are like in the 2020s of our century, and I have to really honestly admit it's so many women, even younger women, who do not feel anything. And the different challenges we have that are very clear on how disconnected we are is the inability to feel something in the womb, the ability to feel too much, like pain, stress, etc. The inability to control our muscles, like we are raised with the idea of having to strengthen muscles to be super strong and super firm and everything. But as I mentioned, the sthira and sukha brings the component in, like, but where is the sweetness of that, and I love bringing the example of a bodybuilder, like, somebody who goes like exercises all these muscles in the gym. Yes, you get strong muscles, you do that, fabulous, but you need the flexibility of a dancer, because the bodybuilder cannot do a very flexible movement because there is too much tension in the muscles. So that is what the Yoni Eggs are doing for the women, helping them bringing this internal massage into a place where they have maybe not felt so far this reactivation of the reflexology points, the reactivation of the chakras, the lubrication of the genitals. And this is so important for us women because we are so busy. Yeah, in our daily lives, we are so busy with standing our man. And regardless if women want to stand their man or not, already being a mother is a very masculine role. So giving birth is a feminine aspect. Being a mother is a masculine quality. You are serving, feeding, caring, providing. And this is as well where many women sometimes start feeling that kind of, I am disconnecting with my femininity and with the ability to receive, because she's constantly in the giving and doing.
And this is also really good for like people, for women to be more in connection with their bodies, like with your emotions, but also with your bodies. There's a lot of times like there's total disconnection with that as well.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So the womb is, and I'm talking about woman bodies right now. The same applies to man bodies, yet that's not the topic. So the womb, the uterus, it's basically the center of our body. If we take like the front, back, left and right, and we just like measure that, it's basically the center of our body. And when we lose the connection to the center, what we have mostly nowadays, then we lose as well the connection to ourselves. And the more we are connected to our center, to the feeling, you know, when you have a circle, when you have a wheel, the main focus is on the center, and from there it moves and it can spin in various directions, and the ball it can roll and it can be active. When there is no center, then it's sometimes lacking this first energy that is important to be able to feel ourselves, and from what we are feeling go into the connection with others and be able to have healthy relationships.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, what you said, like people losing themselves or not feeling their inner center and that connection. And also what you said, like also emotional, like people numbing themselves or fleeing and other things instead of really being here. And
Yeah.
it's not easy in this reality, busy
Absolutely.
reality.
Absolutely. And I have it very often with women, because women's rage, anger or rage, women's emotionality is sometimes so spoken badly about, and it's so shamed. And traditionally, you know, like, I don't want to get into the patriarchy, bad or not. Matriarchy is equal to patriarchy, just different qualities. But what I experience is that many women tell me, like, some point in their childhood, they've been told to not express themselves, to not talk about it, to not be like, you know, rude, to be the nice girl and so on. These things, these qualities that we have learned somewhere in the back, though knowing that that's not correct, we are not bad girls just because we say what we want, but it's so in our system and in every cell that we keep on believing that even when we grow up. And I'm a hypnotherapist, so I sometimes see things that happen even in the womb, or even in the birth channel, or even in past lives, that are so so valid still in our daily life, that we don't even realize that we are carrying these patterns with us. And my encouragement for women is really to be more connected with that, and be more connected with what they truly feel, because the ability to truly feel the whole range of emotions helps us as well feeling all level of orgasmability. So we cannot have strong and profound and this kind of wow, mind-blowing, earth-shattering orgasms if we are not able to feel everything, because the sexual energy sets all of that free. And we have to be able to feel it. Otherwise, we are not having good orgasms.
And we want those, we want
We
those.
want good orgasms. Yes.
I want them
Who
for
doesn't
everybody.
want a good orgasm? Like, you know, we can talk about it, especially on the tantric path. You know, like, I work a lot with Tantra and the Tao and the shamanic visions and the yogis and all the healing. And sometimes, you know, it's this kind of, you know, like, orgasm is not so important. Yeah, I know, but it's so beautiful to have it. You know, I mean, between having an earth-shattering orgasm and not having an orgasm, I'm choosing the shake-up, you know.
Yeah, and also the possibility to when you're more sensitive, you feel it better, and you're like your whole body, like it's a total different feeling
Definitely.
than when you had it in the beginning, till like you are more connected with your body and you're feeling everything. That it's
Totally.
so much more better.
Totally. And just mind you, I'll give you just one example. Sometimes it's like, you know, with girls, with people in general, like, oh, don't cry. Like, in our society, tears are very often hidden. We shouldn't cry. And especially when we are little kids, it's very often said that kids stop crying, that they're like, they don't become difficult to the parents. And then what happens? We learn to suppress these tears. We learn to suppress sadness and find different ways of bypassing sadness. But then we find ourselves in an orgasmic situation, in an orgasmic flow, and we feel the sadness. And sometimes we have to release these tears in order to get to the absolute excitement and ecstatic state of being. And then it stops because we can't release the tears. We feel the sadness and we don't even know what it is. So my work is basically around that. I'm a de-armoring practitioner. I'm a hypnotherapist. I work with myofascial release and adjustment. Yoni Eggs, and this is a little bit of what I'm bringing in, and I'm waving in the knowledge of the foundations of Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, along with shamanic rituals, tantric and Tao practices, to bring this and to wave together that women have the ability to choose what is their right path. Because very often they get even into this kind of, okay, yeah, I do understand it and I do feel it, but what could I do? What is the right thing to do now for me? And just before we have started this video or the recording, we have had an interaction about things we have experienced since we met last in 2018, I think. And there were different things and different shadows of ourselves and different shadows of offerings that they're outside. And sometimes people are very scared of that. They don't want to make the wrong step because there is not much awareness. So what I want to give as a tool to every woman is the ability to sense with her own womb a direction where to go, because our womb can be for us women the compass to every step in our lives. We can use it as a direction. This feels quite right. This feels quite wrong. And just an example, all women who are now in the situation like, yeah, really, Violeta? Like, yeah, really? My womb, a compass? So you have been in a situation, somebody was lying to you. You know it's not the truth. You feel it in your body. And this person is absolutely staying with their profound lies. You don't need one of these machines to detect the lies. Your body has already told you that it's not true. And this is what I want to bring across to every woman. Please listen to your own bodies. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition, and that is like the seed in the womb, in the belly area, like in your center and core. Your intuition is always right. Sometimes we still take the path because we have different things to discover. Sometimes there are other things we need to figure out, like how can I get out of my codependency patterns? How can I get out of my, like how can I move deeper into this shadow and really work through that? Everybody has a different path there. But basically, many women are sometimes a little bit shy to start their own path. And the thing that I can tell you is when your intuition is like, yes, that's right. When you feel the greatest trigger, like trigger in terms of sensation, then you know there is something in there for you. If something leaves you neutral, well, then you have neutral orgasms. Then you just like be like, yeah, finished, done. So get into this, what gives you the highest sensations. And there is always a gift in that.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. But also, like women also very much like into like people pleasing and not having the right boundaries. It's like not always easy. Like, and the more you have that connection, also the knowing what feels yes and no in your own body, it's so much more clarity in your life.
Totally, yes. I'm leading women's anger workshops for, I think it's about a little bit more than 10 years now. And something that I experience in every of these workshops is that the anger women feel and the rage that has built up over months and years and incarnations is because of the inability or inadequacy to express their anger in the moment it occurred with a person where it exactly occurred with. So it's happening somewhere, they're taking it out because it's not appropriate to say something, you know, like the throat chakra is very often blocked with the women. This one goes in alignment with the root chakra, like with the hips and the womb. So if there is no free passage, we are not expressing our voice, we are not expressing our boundaries, our yeses and nos and maybes, and we are not expressing when we are really, really angry. And an accumulation of anger, and this comes now from the physical therapist part, And from someone coming from Southern Europe, we're very quick in expressing our anger, but then we're fine. We don't suppress that. And as a Southern European growing up in Central Europe, where things are more, let's call them civilized, if you know what I mean. Like people are more polite to each other. People are more in the kind of, like we are gentle and kind and so on. My Southern European vibe could not really figure out how to express itself. And I felt how difficult it is for me. And then I started, 25 years ago, I left Central Europe to go travel the world for a little bit. And 25 years later, I'm still traveling.
Wow.
So I'm a long time nomad. I'm a long time nomad when digital nomads didn't even exist. I was doing it already. And I realized when I went to Greece or southern Spain, or just like, there was this kind of full expression of emotion. Yeah. And then people call them passionate, and they are passionate. And I do not want to say that they don't suppress things, because you have this in both Italy, Southern Europe, Greece, France, whatever, that the religion has played a major role in the upbringing as well. So there is like another kind of path of conditionings, but in form of expressing what we feel, they're way more free. And then it's done, and then it's sorted. There is not this kind of, in 10 years, I'm going to tell you, in 1998, when we spoke about this and this topic, it really made me angry. You really pissed me off. No, this doesn't exist, because it's done, it's sorted. And this is what I experience very often with women. So it's important and of so much value for us. I just want to say as well, I don't want to go into this anger subject too much, but if you are now here and thinking like how and why should I bring this and express that? Well, just consider you do not have to punch somebody in the face just because you're angry. But there are anger exercises. There are ways of writing and journaling down what you have felt. There are ways of, hand screaming and stuff like that. So it's not that you really have to be brutal. And obviously, all these exercises that I do in terms of releasing emotions, living emotions, a lot through my Osho community and the things I've learned there, is in fact encouraging the mode of bringing people closer together than taking them apart. And that is something what I feel is really, really important.
Yeah, definitely. And do you do like one-on-ones or mostly groups work?
I do both. I do
Okay.
coaching one-on-one. This is when we are talking about mild issues. Sometimes in like relationship coachings, opening the relationship, sexuality is not maybe that much in a flow. That's what I do with both men and women. And then I'm doing hypnotherapy in individual sessions when we really discover, hey, there is some pattern there that is like so established that it's maybe good if we take it out with roots and remove it. And then I do group settings in form of retreats, in form of hypno sessions, in form of trainings. So all that is what is like part of my work. I'm usually in Bali most time of the cold months of Europe. And when Europe gets the first berries, this is usually the time when I return to do the berry harvest.
Good timing. Good timing.
Yum, 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 yum. And yes, and this is when I start serving in Europe and bringing a little bit of that medicine and clarity to women, to people, to just understand better how they can really live the full potential of their pleasure.
Yeah, and there's so many more like layers to it, what you can feel. So it's like it's really beautiful to be able to like be able to help women in this. Like
Totally.
there's like women that never had like a real like an orgasm, or women that never had like a cervical orgasm. And it's like there's so many even more possibilities
Yeah,
to
and
have
Janneke,
different ones.
Yeah, and it's not even like we are going actually really far if we are saying things like orgasm and multiple ways of feeling orgasmic energy in the body. Many women have not experienced what it means being in a healthy sisterhood because we have put in so much competition between each other that it's for many just impossible to believe that they can be safe in their vulnerability to show themselves in a circle of women where they can talk about whatever they want, whatever they feel, and what's ever present in them. So for me, one of the sweetest moments ever is this, when we have a training or a retreat, and in about 2 days it usually takes for everybody to settle, then we have like a challenging day 3. And this is when they start opening up. And this, the sensations of spring, when you see like after this winter, and everything was quiet and a little bit more in the dark. And then you get out and nature is so full of different colors, of this very gentle, sweet green, this very vulnerable, soft sprouting that happening. This is one of the most beautiful moments of my work that I'm experiencing in the situation when all this starts like, and then not to mention when we all start getting our multiple levels of orgasms, when we all start getting together, getting closer, getting this real sense of sisterhood, because it's so, so, so important for us. In the past, you just let me know if I talk too much, okay? Because when I start
I
talking,
love
I usually can't
what
stop.
you're sharing. I love what you're sharing, and I really think like this will be for a lot of people very interesting. So
Yeah.
I love this
So,
topic also.
in the past, like when we go back to the ancient times, men would go out to being hunting, to like, doing their things, and they would usually go on their own. So they are focusing and doing things on their own. Women would stay together in the community, and women would be depending on each other because one of them was maybe good in finding the appropriate herbs. The other one was good in delivering children. The third one was good to read the phases of the moon or the weather by the movement in the sky. And so each one of them has brought their individual skills into the community. And because of that, and so one of the reasons why so many women fear being excluded from the community is exactly that, because they know their survival was depending on it. But if it's used in a healthy way, everyone can bring their gift, can put it in there, and we can profit from each other's knowledge, and we can profit from being held by each other, because we needed to be very strong as a community if we wanted to survive. The dangers people talk about, and like the dangerous tigers that were attacking the community or something. Yeah, the tigers did exist. But to be honest, these people didn't have windows, they didn't have doors. A stronger rainfall might have caused the community to completely disappear. So women had to hold together and to be too close, very close to each other, that they could communicate and that they could rescue when things have been happening, to be very wild in the community. And danger was all kind of things. Strong weather conditions. They very often lived next to rivers, overflowing rivers. No harvest. No harvest would mean no survival. So all these things brought us closer to each other, and it's good to get to know each other better and to get to understand each other in a more humble and compassionate way, because each one of us has their own story.
Yeah, and everybody is so their own uniqueness, and what you say, everybody brings their own wisdom, and we can all support each other and rise together, and that is so beautiful. If you see like everybody like more in their own power and glowing, and that's what you want for everybody. Like, so that's why really that's really beautiful what you do, and what you like people really can come to you and yeah, like they can contact you and they can check your links. I will put the links underneath that they really feel like, hey, this woman can maybe help me with certain things, emotionally, physically, mentally, all sorts of different ways, because you have like very different things that you said, that you have like a lot of things in your backpack where you can help people with. So that's really, really beautiful. And people can really find you here. And yeah, so you were already doing this for such a long time. So you already like helped a lot of women. So that's really, really beautiful. Yeah.
I have a huge community. And I feel so blessed that I have been with some women. Yeah, some are with me from the beginning. So I'm talking about 10, 15 years. And it really feels so good to see this goes beyond any kind of, that's my patient or my client or something. This goes into this kind of, wow, we are growing together, because I have changed in the last 10 years. And sometimes people come to me for a physical issue. For example, they have pain during intercourse, or they have incontinence, they're losing a few drops every winter, or they get very painful menstruations and stuff like that. And sometimes when we really give ourselves permission to dive into that, we discover it's not just a physical thing. It's a physical manifestation of all the other things we are going through, of the emotional, mental, spiritual, or sexual path that are coming in and representing themselves in a physical form, so that we pay attention to that and look into it. And this is really important for us women to know as well, that it takes a little bit of bravery to get into that and to start understanding that these things are all connected and all interconnected. And in the same way, once you start pulling the thread and pulling just like, the strings, this all develops like a beautiful orchestra that just like starts playing and playing and waving in the different sounds and forms and impulses, so that it becomes a really holistic, beautiful experience.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what would you maybe like so like last message for women that are like at this moment struggling with life and what is happening, and to deal with whatever is happening now in the world?
So one thing that I would really love to remind women of is, do the work with yourself, do the work on yourself. We are the generation that comes out from that is like the in-between generation of all these old patterns, these paradigms that were just like so rusty and that have served a certain time and evolution. But we are now in a different time zone, and we are to find new ways of dealing and exploring the world. And if we just look into the astrological happenings of the last few years, like, we are the women that are actually bringing the change that is necessary for the next generation. So if we want to lend our shoulders for the next generation to start climbing up and looking up and having a different perspective, then it's important that we really get strong shoulders, strong wombs, a good center, and that we are aware of the fact as well that whatever we experience, there are some shoulders we are standing on, and this is the shoulders of our ancestral line. And we are standing on them and standing firm on them, because these people have been able to build it up for us in a quality that our time and our generation can process that and can bring that into light.
Wow, I got goosebumps. What you were saying, like I was feeling it. It's like yes, like let's step up as women, and let's like rise even more and support each other more. And yeah, beautiful, beautiful, because we are at the cusp of a whole new, different way of living, and a whole transformation of this world. So it's really beautiful that you are also one of the people that really like, where people can really go to. And you have so many different ways of helping women in this. So I'm really, this was a great talk. And I hope a lot of women have a lot of information and inspiration from this. And thank you so much.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It was a joy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for inhaling this, what I've said, and for the opportunity to share a little bit of what I'm doing. And yeah, may it serve all of us.
Thank you, Violeta, and thank you everybody for watching, and lots of love and all the best to you.
Ding, ding, ding. Ciao.